Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's video is going to be a video about why, you can tell by the title probably, but we're going to be talking about why this upcoming winter could be pretty interesting, if not very interesting, if the events unfold, or if a La Nina pattern occurs. So there's been a lot of talk about the La Nina pattern, and that's because it hasn't occurred in a while, for several years. The last time it occurred was into early 2018, which, isn't, awfully a long time ago, but the El Nino just occurred a couple months ago, so did the neutral. So this is the pattern that hasn't occurred in the longest time out of the three possible ones: the El Nino, the La Nina, and the neutral. And it looks as if right now there is a La Nina watch. They issued that, and it looks as if it's most likely going to be La Nina through mid fall into most of winter. So that's very exciting, as La Nina means a lot of exciting stuff can go on. So if you guys would like to embark on this journey throughout this winter, this potentially very exciting winter, consider subscribing to this channel. I do all sorts of weather content. I will be talking about the upcoming winter, upcoming fall. I do talks about snowstorms, winter storms, just rainstorms during the summer, fall months, storm systems, severe weather, temperature changes, all of that fun stuff. So if you guys would like, consider subscribing, obviously. And if you are a returning viewer of this channel, consider liking this video, as that really helps out this channel. So thank you so much for doing that. Right now we are looking at the El Nino and La Nina episodes based on the ONI, which is basically a 3-month average, and that determines whether it's El Nino or La Nina, that 3-month average, and where it lies. So let's take a look at the past years. Notice that we've had, again, La Nina, El Nino, neutral. For past, this is now, 12 years? We've had alternating years of, La Nina going into neutral, El Nino, La Nina, neutral. The biggest, probably, phase of La Nina was from 2010 into early 2012, with the 1 month being just neutral, and neutral being from 2012 to late 2014. And we haven't had a La Nina, a strong La Nina in a while. It looks like this winter may be a strong La Nina, though at this point I would still say safest to say is middle, moderate to a weak La Nina. And again, there's still a possibility that this could be a neutral winter, right? So this is why this isn't, a all end all be all thing where La Nina is happening 100%. The confidence is still pretty darn low. I mean, if you were to look at this was updated 9th of July. You're going to notice that Enzo neutral is most likely to continue through the northern hemisphere summer. So the rest of the summer, Enzo neutral is most likely to continue, which has been going on already. That's why it's most likely to continue. That's why they say continuation. And with a La Nina favored, 55 to 50% chance beginning in August through October. And they give that wide range because they don't know. It may occur August, September, or October. And then, it may not even form, to be honest with you. Again, it's a 50 to 55% chance. So the El Nino is very low probability. I mean, it's below 10%, right, for most of the rest of 2020. But the neutral, you could see, is still around that 40 to 30% mark, which is still relatively high. And the La Nina is higher than that. It's around 50 to 55, possibly into 60% range. But that still could change, especially since this is July, mid-July, and I'm recording this video, and we're talking about the winter months, and that's still far out. These things don't change day by day, these forecasts, so at least that's a good thing, but they could change within the time period we still have ahead of us. And notice that they're most, you could see La Nina favored through the northern hemisphere winter 2021 as well, with only March, April, May, possibly, late spring, mid to late spring, possibly going into a neutral pattern. Not even an El Nino, just a neutral pattern. So we'll have to see what this La Nina does. If it does occur, it could be a very interesting pattern. And now let me tell you why. Well, first let's look at the model outlooks, right? To give you some more confidence about what's going on, a better outlook. You could see that the model most models predict Enzo neutral or La Nina. Again, this model group is a bit lost. You can see here's the 0.5 indication. You can see it runs right through the heart of these models. So they're pretty much split half and half between the neutral and the La Nina. Some are showing a stronger El neutral, maybe pointing toward an El Nino, while some are showing a pretty strong La Nina. So, this point, it's very safe to say no El Nino for this winter, but it's still definitely a pretty close call between a neutral and La Nina, and I think it's just too close of a call to make, right? Okay, so let's look at another model group. You can see this is the version 2 CFS, which is the climate forecasting system, and it predicts ento neutral to transition to La Nina beginning in August through around October, that time frame. And you can see that many models are not a single one out of these many models. You can see 8 plus 8, and so that's 16. But there's also other, which isn't specified. So at least 16 models here. Not a single one is showing a El Nino. So that's rather confident that we have that. In the books, we're not going to have an El Nino. Neutral, you can see several are showing. 2, 3 models are showing neutral, but then the vast majority beginning again around the August, September time frame, most likely earlier than later. You can see going into a fairly strong La Nina. Some are showing a ridiculously strong La Nina, possibly a record-breaking one. Again, that's just the extremes though, and we're not looking at that. We're just looking at that based that forecast ensemble mean, and you can see it takes us into a 1 below average, into almost a 1.5, and then takes us back out of that. Still a La Nina though coming into mid-spring with this model group. So what does that mean? Why is the La Nina interesting? Well, let's look at La Nina, the Climate Prediction Center, and what they say a typical La Nina pattern holds for the United States. And just to let you know, if you're not wondering what a La Nina is, what's this all talk, what it's all of this about, La Nina is this region right here. Let me draw it. It's this region. Oh, sorry, that's not La Nina. This is the Enzo region. And this region, whether it's below average, 0.5, or above 0.5, determines whether or not it is a La Nina or El Nino. If it's warmer, it's an El Nino. If it's cooler, it's a La Nina. And you can see based on the sea surface temperatures, we have more of a La Nina developing, but there's still quite a bit of warm air or warm water around the part of the La Nina where it's the strongest. So that's why it's still a neutral pattern. Right now, it's an either or. It's kind of in between that between the negative 0.5 and a positive 0.5. So this is still a neutral pattern, but again, it's starting to show some pretty strong indications of a La Nina on the coasts of off of Peru and Ecuador. So this is definitely something that we have to keep an eye for, and we'll have to monitor the last 7 days. The precipitation or the temperature anomaly, you can see, is not as significant. It's a little bit cool, a little bit warm in some areas, kind of just maintaining that neutral pattern. No drastic cooling off. I would say a little bit more maybe cooling off than warming up, but it's not going to be it's not going to be enough to bring it down to a La Nina. We'll need something more significant in order to do that. But let's look at the La Nina pattern, and let's take a look at this. As I already showed you, this is what a typical La Nina pattern does across the United States. Now, this isn't really, there's different variations of a La Nina, right? There's, there could be a strong La Nina, there could be a weak La Nina, or there could be a moderate La Nina, and each of those have a slightly different impact. Now, most likely the La Nina being weak or moderate, let's just focus on this graph, as historically, we've had way more weak to moderate La Ninas than strong La Ninas, so that means that this image is most likely really does the best job with the weak to moderate La Ninas. If strong La Nina has slightly different impacts, and if that does occur this year, which I don't think it will, it might, I'll make a specific graph for that. And you can see, and there are specific graphs made by the Climate Prediction Center for a strong one, but let's just go off this one. You can see it has cool air as it sends its polar jet stream way to the north across Alaska, so this means pretty warm temperatures across much of the Gulf of Alaska, into parts of the Rocky Mountains of Western Canada. But then you can see that that's really, you can see that the cold air starts filtering in, and they say cold air across the coast. I'm not sure. Usually La Nina is a little bit further away from the coast than this, but again, that's each La Nina is slightly different. But overall, they say that cooler air across the west into much of Western Canada. Though sometimes during a La Nina, it tends to be warm or cooler across portions further east and south and further north and west. It really depends on the La Nina, but generally you can see cool across the northwestern Canada area, in northwestern United States. Also wet because the Pacific jet stream tends to hammer right into the west coast, especially northwest. Though it is variable that word, so it could go into the southern U.S. as well, or southern California area. And notice that we notice this wet and cool air overlapping. That usually means the Northwest. If you're living in the Northwest and you have a La Nina pattern, that's probably the best Enzo pattern for you to have snowfall, even across cities like Portland or Seattle. And we have had that before. And then this jet stream, you can see, crashes down into portions of the central and southern United States, and this really does a number with cool air across much of the Midwest. Not necessarily the Northeast, as that is where some of the warm air could get in. They have some wet and warm air to the south, all ready to be, I guess, used up possibly by this jet stream. With the lift from the jet stream, a storm could definitely form out of this. And with cold air being relatively close, it's definitely in stock, if you will. It could sometimes spill over with a stronger, I guess, pull of high pressure. It kind of gets dragged in, and that could definitely lead to some stronger storms across portions of the Northeast. So definitely some nor'easters and increase in that. Some mid-Atlantic snow systems also possible, though generally not as likely as some other years, as because it's going to be warmer. But the wetness is definitely there, so that lack of precip won't be really a problem. Dry across the south, that seems to be a problem, and also warm across La Nina. So if you live across the southern United States, it doesn't look like this winter will be a big year for you. But then again, I could be wrong. There has been many years where that has been proved wrong, as every La Nina is different. If you recall, the 2017-2018 winter, we had the 2017-2018, we had a La Nina, right? And if you recall, Winter Storm Bella occurred, I think it was December 2017 across the south. And it was a historic snowstorm across the south. And it was a La Nina pattern. So you could see that all it takes is one snowstorm to be remembered as a historic year across the south. So really, it definitely is something to keep an eye on for, as just because it's a La Nina pattern doesn't mean the south won't get snow. I know that if you live across the south and you're a snow lover, you definitely remember Winter Storm Bella, and that one was during La Nina. Also, I wanted to point something out that, look at this, 2018 into March, February, it was a La Nina pattern, and if you recall, the Northeast across that time frame, there was those three famous nor'easters that happened within a couple of days of each other, maybe a week or two. All early March, they just came in, absolutely just dumped tons and tons of snow across the Northeast, and that was during the La Nina pattern. So, not necessarily just because it's wet and warm across an area, that could mean actually more favorable conditions for snow. And then obviously the Northwest and Midwest sees a drastic increase in snow with the La Nina years. So that's definitely something we'll have to keep talking about. And that's why this winter is going to be so cool, because it's a La Nina pattern, and there's so many variable things that usually during El Nino it's a little bit more, more basic. If you look at the more snowy years that are more memorable as very snowy years, the 2013-2014 was a neutral, not really in La Nina or El Nino. So that's a little bit off. But again, 2010-2011, very snowy, cold year, was a La Nina. If you look at, again, the 2017-2018 winter was an interesting one. You could see it was a La Nina. The El Nino winters don't tend to be really specifically harsh, though there are outliers. Obviously, 2018-2019 winter was a La Nina, or it was an El Nino, and it was a very rough winter. 2008-2009 was a tough winter. That was a La Nina. 2009-2010 was a tough winter. That was the El Nino. So you can see there could still be a tough winter without a proper Enzo, if you will. But there definitely is an increased likelihood. So stay tuned, guys. I'll be updating you throughout the fall and winter months about this, and we'll continue talking about the updates on this channel. So if you guys would like to subscribe, that would be amazing. But for now, thank you so much for watching. We're done with today's video, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. See ya. Bye.